Chat, chat, chat. This real talk on RTK. Today we here with
Blake Owens.
for sure, for sure. So, what made you start doing bike tours instead of something else?
So the bikes was interesting. I was living in the quarters. I was working at the House of Blues, and me and one of my partners, Nick, who I created it with, I used to see him every Sunday night because we had like parties and stuff we'd be promoting, and we used to
Right,
always talking about just getting on the bikes and just rolling. So the bikes just kind of fell in my lap. I was living in the quarters, working at the House of Blues. My partner Nick Reed, we was both doing different parties at the Blues, and we used to always talking about just getting on bikes and riding. So then one day we actually did it. It was a night out against crime, and we had like 8 or 9 people show up, and we just had fun. It was DJ Papa was there. He had the speaker, we had the lights and the wheels, and after that we just kept doing it, and it just got bigger every week, till it turned into this major thing every Tuesday night. So then, just realizing I had a business on my hands because nobody had bikes. So we had, hold on, man. We always had to use bikes from another rental company. And we was, they was making money, and I'm like, nah, we could do that. So we bought some bikes, rented them. Then we started doing private tours, rentals, got the shop, and so on and so forth. But I think it was a good business from the jump because it's just one of them things that sold itself.
right.
We just added the flavor to it with the music and the lights and the different routes and stops. But I think people just like getting on bikes, and then our people, our culture. What I heard a lot was, I ain't rode a bike in this long. I ain't rode a bike in that long. So it was
Right,
like re-exposing them to that feeling of just riding a bike like a kid.
right,
And anytime you got a business that sells itself, all you got to do is just keep manicuring it.
right. So, if somebody had only 2 hours in New Orleans, where are you taking them on a bike?
So I'm definitely taking them in the French Quarter because the quarters be all right. The quarters be action packed. It's kind of like you could do your own thing. You could ride with a drink. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
It's just people be applauding and cheering when we roll by. So the
right,
quarters that's my go-to.
right.
Yeah,
And it's real historic. You get to see a lot of the old buildings and stuff.
yeah.
So, how would you want people to see your music? Like, what's the vibe you want people to feel when they hear your music?
Can I hold it? No. Why? So I'm almost done, man. So the music, switching gears, I've kind of gotten the lane of like performing with a live band,
Mm,
and I feel like that's my lane. Like that's what I'm most comfortable doing. My music flows well with live instrumentation. So for me, the perfect setting is like, a lounge, a festival or whatever, but just a live band feel.
yeah,
Not like turned up going crazy, but if you're looking for a night of just real talent, real authentic instrumentation, uh, words with content in them, smooth delivery, like drink your little wine or something, something
yeah, get a good
chill,
lift.
laid back, but thoughtful. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, before we get up out of here, who influenced your rap style?
Man, a lot of '90s rappers. Um, but if I had to pick one person, I'd say Mac. Mac that used to rap with No Limit. He one of my original first favorite rappers. I liked how he had like, he had a dope delivery. He was from the streets, but he was a thinker, and he knew
Right,
how to talk to the women. So just I felt like that was me growing up. So I'm like, let me mirror my style after him. And
right.
then I met him later on and ended up working with him,
Dang,
which was dope.
for sure. I appreciate it for this interview. What social media platforms can we find you on?
OG Blake Owens and Get Up Ride underscore Nola. That's Get Up, just the letter N, not and. And then what's new is we created a nonprofit uh last year, so you can do Get Up and Ride. foundation.
Yeah, I'll go tap in with that. Appreciate it for this interview, man.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Yes,
Anytime.
sir.